Good morning, everyone. It is hump day, woo woo, Wednesday, September 29th. Here's a look at our futures. I was out, well, pretty much all day yesterday. Checked in a few times, but didn't do a gosh darn thing. But I got most of my stuff done that I had to yesterday, so that's good. And apparently it was a good day to be out. Look at that push down we had. So this is the SPY futures. It'll look very similar on the SPY, but what I want to point out here is look at this big old push down that we had on some pretty accelerated volume. So a bit of exhaustion right there. And if we push over here and look at the SPY, right, we can see the same thing. We pushed down with some pretty hard volume, right? We see that lots of selling pressure there, and today coming in. So we put it as of right now, right? If we come in today and continue to move up, don't close lower than yesterday, we've now started a very short-term trend of a lower or of a higher low, which is good. The other thing that we noticed, the VIX, although it crept up, it actually was kind of quiet. It made its initial creep in the morning, but then it didn't continue to accelerate. I was a little surprised by that when I came back in and took a look at that. And our ticks right at the end of the day came right back to neutral. So those are kind of some things that would give us a little pointer that, hey, tomorrow, if it were yesterday at the close, we'd be like, hey, tomorrow looks like that the selling pressure now is kind of out of the way, and we will look for a move back up. Not saying that it's going to continue back up, but that we would start out probably with a bit more of a bounce and see if we can sell or buy our way right back into that gap. Of course, there's always news around, so if China came out and said something that kind of throws every technical thing that you can look at in the chart, throws it out the window, and you start over from scratch. But as of right now, we are looking to make that bounce here this morning. Okay, and wow, listening to the financial gurus, if you will, the big like JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, things like that. It's like a rock'em sock'em robot. So what it reminds me of, the pro Bitcoin versus the anti Bitcoin, and well, I wouldn't buy that with your money. It's just so stupid. And, oh my goodness, it's hilarious to watch. Nonetheless, Bitcoin is really struggling now to get back up through all of these moving averages. So nice little squeeze going on there. And when it finally does, we'll see if we get a nice push back up. We're still holding that 40,000 mark, which is impressive, I guess. I'm kind of surprised. But overall, the look still, as of right now, is bearish. But we are trading in quite the little box here. So, and I think that the case could be made that it looks kind of like a Head and Shoulders. Look at that, right? So, I don't know, a little funky, but maybe. Okay, so let's hop on over to some things to watch for today. So, travel, airlines, and hotels, and travel sites, and all of those, right? So everything, not everything, but most things yesterday really took a beating yesterday, right? But coming back in today, even Expedia bounced up off of its lows and closed higher than the low. I like Airbnb. So I typed that in right, Airbnb. This is one that we've traded quite a bit, looking for a move back up over this fib line. See, we popped up, hit a retracement line, came back in, looking for a move back to the top side here in Airbnb. I like the Novembers. Nearly all of the calls I make today are going to be for the November 19th, so keep that in mind. I like to play the monthlies. You have to assess your own risk or how much you are willing to invest into a trade idea. Okay, so Airbnb, the 175, and I like that over 169.70. Boeing, so this is the hard thing about Boeing. It does this, that you're like, oh, yay, it looks like we're doing well. Nope. Okay, we're coming back down. This with the overall market, but overall, Boeing is holding in pretty darn well. And this morning, it is back up above the 50 moving average, kind of hanging out in the top part of this wick here, looking for a test. Now, I've been talking about this. I feel like this is the longer term downtrend. You can see that blue line right there. However, looks like we are going to put in a higher low here as of right now and maybe change that trend. But on the maybe a shorter trade, I would look at the 225s or 230s there in Boeing. CZR, MGM, Wynn, Marriott, HLT, all of these look like they would be pretty decent buys if we get that continued recovery. Now, we do have to see that hold in. Right now, the Dow futures are sitting up about 150, 155. So we need to see that follow through. Would I take it right at the open? Probably not. I would let the market settle in for about half an hour to an hour first if you want to look at these for a swing trade. But I think these are a good place to be. Another one we talked about the other day, Ford broke its longer term downtrend. Look at this. Yesterday came in, actually opened up pretty decent before having that pullback. Still like this here, and it is turning back up. It is green here this morning. Has some more volume in it. Even though we closed on the downside of this candle, we opened higher and closed higher than the previous day. I think that that shows some real relative strength to the market. And Ford, it is taking orders for those EV. It's not just your grandpa's truck anymore. They are making GM and Ford are making real headwinds in the electric vehicle space. So not just a regular auto company, it is in that specialized EV space. I like Ford here, both equity and options. The options, I would look at the 15s, but I also like it for a long for equity. Okay, Costco. As I was walking around this morning, I realized all the things I forgot at Costco, so I have a new list going. But Costco, big, it went back up, put in new highs, right? But then brought right back down with the market and resting here on the 50, looking for just a reversal back up through that 50 here. If it opens up inside this candle, I would look for, let me see where it is this morning. I would look over 452 would be a better entry for me. Yeah, so it's sitting at 449 on the dot right now. Through 452 is where I would look for Costco, and I would look at those 450s in November. All right, another one that we've been playing, AFRM. Right, so this has some pretty vicious moves, both explosive to the top side, but vicious pullbacks. But you can see here as I was flipping through the charts, look at that, came right back to the fib line. This has been drawn in here for a while, and look at that. Look at that move, right? So right back to the fib line. I like this for a reversal. If it's opening up higher, I would look at to the 8. Let me see where this one is as well. I wish they would put that on the charts. So one thing that I really don't like about TOS, yeah, it's sitting just above the 8 at 119.40. I would like to see is a little bit of a push down and then back up, but coming back up through the 8 is where I would look for AFRM, and I like those 120s. I think it was Margin Call who was talking about SGMS the other day. So I've kind of been watching these, and these games, so not all of them look like SGMS. Some of them are way more beaten up, but they have definitely taken a little bit of a turn and look like they're starting to reverse that overall trend here. You can see take 2. There's going to be 2 trend lines in here. Do that one, and then I would probably also look at this one. But I like the overall move in this, just kind of creeping its way back up, and take 2, of course, SGMS and EA. Look at that, nice little move there on EA as well. So some decent plays in there. Again, because of the big moves they've had, I'd probably stick to more of a day trade on those, unless you give yourself plenty of time to the long side for that to maybe take a little bit of a break. And of course, we have to talk about this no-name one that I swear yesterday I was looking at it and I'm like, I so want, right early in the morning because I was here for the open. I'm like, I really like this, but I knew I was leaving, so I did not. But nice little candle inside the previous day's candle. We did close on the downside this morning. You're going to see that we've turned that right back around. I would keep an eye on Tesla here for a day trade, and I like the 785s and 790s. I know they're really expensive, but but a great day trader, usually very, very liquid, and Netflix was the other one. So we actually went through this line that we had drawn in from yesterday, right? Nice little wedge thingy there. Let me go ahead and move this just a little bit and push it back up to the top side of yesterday's candle now, but looking for a break of that trend line. Also really good day trader and nice squeeze here. I like this very much. So Netflix, I like the 590s and the 600s, so we'll watch those. All right, that is it. Again, today, remember, although we're pushing up off those lows from yesterday, we are moving to the green side here. Be very cautious and make sure that it follows through and isn't just a head fake getting ready to take us out to the downside. Okay, that is it. If you have any questions, let me know. Heather C at givingtreetrading.com.